Hello, this is Joe83, and this is round 2 of the season of AOR this season. We're here back in F2 in the Alfa Romeo for Bahrain, and as you would expect, it's a fully dry weekend as it's Bahrain, it's in the middle of a desert, so not really a surprise there. Loading the setup here, and it's I decided to go 3.7 laps of fuel for the first run, just in case I mess up the first lap after then got enough fuel to go for another one. So here we are on the first lap in qualifying, and down towards turn 1, trying to get nice clean braking, locking up the front right a little bit, but it doesn't lose too much time there. And fourth gear, getting nicely on the exit actually, that's pretty good run through turn 1. And down to the next corner, trying to keep it nice and clean, braking just at the 100-meter board, third gear over that curb and entry. Want to go over the curb and exit as well, but unfortunately I've not taken as much speed as I could have done through there. Nowhere near the full use of the track really, and by the end of the lap I am purple a minute, but it's also because I'm the first driver to do any lap. You can see in the mini-map I am the leader of the drivers so far, and down the back straight, obviously keeping it as far to the left as possible for line of least resistance and braking just after 100-meter board. Fourth gear for the final corner and getting a nice exit, although not as much speed taken as possible through there. And now opening up the DRS and cutting the line into 25.9, and that's an okay banker lap. My best was a 25.6, but I was consistently doing 7s in practice, so I was aiming for a 25.7 to be honest. You can see by the end of everyone's first runs, Riley, my teammate, had done a 25.3, which I pretty much knew I wasn't going to be able to beat. And you saw Daigoro was 0.02 of a second ahead of me, and our through turn 4 this time, and taking a lot more speed than we did last time, and all over the exit curb like you want to be there, and up on the time just a little bit, and purple in sector 1 apparently, even though I'm off Riley, which seems a bit strange, but either way, down towards this next corner, second gear for turn 8, and over that curb a little bit too much there, and not getting a good exit at all, losing the back end all the way through the gears, and that cost me at least a 10.5 there. By the end of the lap, I'm barely improving, although coming around the final corner, we do gain a little bit of time, so it's going to be a very minor improvement, up probably to still a 25.9 actually, and yes, it's actually an 8, a 10th improvement, where it puts me ahead of Daigoro up into second place, but Riley then improves to 25.2, so just to put the nail in the coffin a bit further, I now know I'm not going to get pole position unlike Australia, so yeah. Last lap in qualifying now, you can see 30 seconds left in the session, down towards turn 1, getting it nice and early on the brakes, not locking up any wheels this time, although a little bit on the curve on the entry, and not really getting the best run ever, but it's a little bit up my previous lap, so that's okay. And out down towards turn 4, we messed it up the first time, can we get it right this time? Third gear, messing the apex quite a bit there, actually lost a 10th or so, and a little bit of oversteer and exit, and not the best run over that curb there, through to the S section of middle sector, 6th gear, a little bit too narrow for the second part. My teammate Riley spins off, so he's not really improving anymore, but down towards turn 8, we saw we lost a lot of time here before, and now on the exit, gaining up to 2/10 almost, so we're pretty much level with the previous time. It's not going to be a huge improvement, and obviously I'm not going to get pole position. This is more about trying to improve as much as possible, so Daigoro can't beat me. And now opening DRS for the second DRS straight and down towards turn 11, and this is a very high speed corner, braking to about 70 meters, 5th gear, not going to that entry curve too much. On the exit, taking it nice and clean, and getting a pretty good line through here, up to 2/10 up now, and down towards this next corner. Very difficult to see a reference point because there really isn't one for that corner. Lost about a 200th of a second there, but it's no big deal really, and down the back straight, almost 2/10 up now. Looks like it could be on for a 0.7 or even 0.6, which I'd be very happy, to be honest, with, because, as I said, my PB was a 25.6 in practice. So, yeah, around the final corner nicely there, and it's going to be a 2/10 improvement up to a 25.6, which I can happily take, to be honest. Obviously, I don't like being 4/10 off Riley, but he is an absolute Bahrain merchant. And unfortunately for me, Daigoro beat me again at the end. So, yeah, I'm 200ths off the front row, which is a bit frustrating, but third place is not a bad place to start here. And yeah, my teammate Riley absolutely battering pole position out the park there, and you can see the rest of the grid as it is. 15 drivers, so pretty good turnout, and yeah, getting onto the grid then from third place. And the strategy is obviously starting on the soft tyres, going to the hards around lap 8, and you can just about make it to the end. It's quite a close one, but here we are on the grid for the 5-row lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix from third place on the grid. And my lights have gone out a little bit early there, it looks like, and I've jumped into the lead straight away, but no one else went off the grid for some reason. It's a very well-known glitch. Sometimes the host of the lobby can get a lag start, and basically your lights go out a bit early. That is exactly what happened. So, yeah, very lucky for me there, but I am going to give it back later in this lap because, yeah, obviously my start wasn't that good. I wouldn't normally lead the race, and in the AOR rules, with lag starts, at least back in the day when 2016, lag starts were actually a common thing. You had to get the places back, so I'm going to do exactly the same thing just in case someone decides to take me to the stewards for that start. Obviously, nothing I can do about it, but that's the way it goes. But you can see I got a 1.2 second lead straight away, which is, yeah, very artificial because the start was completely what handed me that lead. And going around the next lock-up corner, I'm just going to lift off the gas on the exit and give the places back to Riley and Daigoro, who've managed to maintain positions in what they started. So, yeah, obviously, I could have gained places off the start, but also I could have lost places. So I think giving it back to third is probably fair enough. And down towards next corner, keeping it ahead of Giant in fourth. And you see, end of lap, starting lap 2 now. These two are going absolutely hammer and tongs, battling for the lead. Daigoro and my teammate Riley are really fighting for the lead here. Riley switching to the inside. Obviously, no DRS yet. It's just a straight line speed only. And down the towards turn 4, Riley's going to send one on Daigoro up the inside. The driver I spent most of last week battling. But my teammate Riley takes the lead back. And I get a bit of oversteer there, almost losing it. But luckily not. And through the middle sector, nothing really doing unless Daigoro might send on into the turn 8. But I'm very careful over that curb. That can really spin you out quite easily there. But I was quite lucky that didn't happen. Riley goes a bit wide into 8, but nothing doing for Daigoro. And now starting lap 3, DRS is about to be enabled on the next straight, but Daigoro is going to maybe go for it into turn 1, is he? He's braking pretty late, and yes, he does. Absolutely sends one, like Nico Rosberg did back in 2014 on Hamilton, but Riley switches back and gets the lead back, but now DRS is going to be enabled, and Daigoro has it. And I'm not really close enough for anything to happen here, but Daigoro is going to send one back up the inside of turn 4 once again, and they're going to surely come to contact there. Yes, they are. Daigoro's caused a crash, and that's allowed me to switch underneath both of them and take the lead of the race back, this time for real. So yeah, perfect stuff from Daigoro there, helping me out. Obviously a bit unfortunate for my teammate Riley to, I think he got damaged at that point as well. So yeah, very unlucky for him. Meanwhile, Enric has retired from the session. That's caused a safety car, which is a very difficult time for a safety car to come out because you can't really go to the end from hards from here unless like you want to risk a puncture at the end. So I decided to stay out on the softs, just extend the first stint a little bit. Obviously, some drivers are going to now switch to 2 stops. Some of them might put it for hards and just try and go to the end and risk it. But either way, I think I had too much to lose to try that. So I decided to stay out on the softs. You can see quite a few drivers did the same. And I think my teammate Riley pit for mediums to do a double medium stint to go to the end of the race to fix his damage as well. So on the restart here, trying to keep it nice and slow. Obviously, it's my prerogative when I want to go. And we've gone now and putting it into overtake. And absolutely leaving Daigoro behind with Ruben to battle for second because I've got 6/10 by the time I even go to cross the start-finish line. So down towards turn 1, absolutely miles clear. And it's really important for me now to try and break this DRS window, as DRS is so powerful around here with 3 zones that are all pretty long. And yeah, as if I can break a second by the time DRS is enabled, I'll be very happy with that. And you can see we almost broke a second already. And a couple laps later, we have made it 1.2 over Daigoro. So that is very nice. And setting the purple lap as well. And the pit window is open. Obviously, that's the window without a safety car. So you're able to extend the stint slightly longer, which is I wanted to do. Because obviously we did 3 laps under the safety car, so you can go longer on the softs now. But you can see the gap extended up to 2 seconds almost by the end of the next lap. And Daigoro actually decided to pit to try and go for an undercut strategy. And that's allowed Ruben up to second place. So I've got 3 seconds now. Riley is third on those mediums, so he's got 1 more stop to do as well, like I have. And he's only 4 seconds back, so this is very good stuff from him so far. And into the pits, braking for the pit lane, almost getting it, almost going too fast into the pit, so that was incredibly close. I just decided I wanted to cover off the undercut. My tyres were also on 60%, so just thought it was worth pitting now. I don't want to get undercut by Daigoro and allow him back in that DRS range. But obviously the gap was 2 seconds before, so it should be okay, really. Especially with such a good entry to the pit lane, almost accidentally so good. But either way, that's going to gain me some time on everyone else probably, because they'll take it pretty cautious. And now out of the pits, you can see the Ferrari on the map is Daigoro, who's behind Ariello so far. And now into turn 1, we've got a bit of a lead actually. It maybe extended the gap almost. Yeah, 2.5 seconds. So we've gained about half a second there on Daigoro through the pit window. And now I've just got to push as hard as possible on these hards to try and catch the likes of the drivers who might be trying something different with strategy. Juan Mita is not one of those drivers because I think he's still on the mediums he started the race on. And now down towards turn 10, the lock-up corner, second gear. He's over those curves quite a lot, but unfortunately my exit is not good enough to try anything, as I got a little bit of oversteer there. But you can see on the top left, we've got Tom in the Red Bull. He's on hard tyres. He pit under the safety car. He could be trying to go to the end. I really didn't know at this point, so I had to push as hard as possible to try and close down the 10 seconds. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult because his tyres are not that much older than mine. They're about 5 laps older, probably. So, yeah, really got to try and close the gap as soon as possible, which means I've got to dispose of Juan Mita as soon as I can. You can see behind me, we've got Daigoro 3.5 behind and Ruben 4.5 behind. They're both doing the same strategy as me. So obviously Juan Mita is probably going to try and help out his Spanish teammate Ruben by holding me up a little bit. But down into turn 1, we've got DRS open once again, and with overtake mode as well and rich mix, I should be close enough in the slipstream to send one into turn 1, and now putting it back into medium in the ERS and sending one into turn 1, not looking up any tyres there, second gear, and taking that position. Obviously a pretty much a mismatch of tyre wear because my tyres are pretty fresh. He's been on his the whole race. And you can see got 9 seconds now to Tom, and onto lap 18, quite a bit further into the race, and I'm up into 3rd place as everyone else has made their first stops, and Tom is 6 seconds up the road. Him and Riley actually battling very hard, so Riley doing me an absolute job, battling who could be my rival for the win really, because Tom might be going to the end of the race, and Riley is not. He's obviously got another stop to do, so he's fighting Tom as hard as he can to help me out, and then he pit a few laps later, but meanwhile Tom up ahead, I closed it up to 3 seconds, and then he peeled off into the pits, so he was not going to try and go to the end, which I thought he might do, but now my focus is well and truly behind me because I've got quite a bit of a gap actually, and into turn 1 we've got 4.5 seconds to Ruben. Daigoro absolutely fell off. I don't know if he got damage or something or got some other issue, but either way he's now 11 seconds behind, so his pace is really nothing like it was in Australia. And now, a few laps later, 2 laps, Ruben has closed the gap to 3 seconds. So I'm a little bit worried because he is closing in very quickly. And I know he's a difficult driver to hold off because in Australia, we got a podium from, I think, 11th on the grid. So he's got a bit of pace about him. And unfortunately, he's showing it now. And another 2 laps later, he's closed another second. So it's now 1.9. Yeah, with only 3 laps to go, I've really got to be on it because it's now 1.5 seconds on the same lap. He's had a really good lap here, and now through the high speed turn 11 and turn 12, just trying to keep it nice and clean, no mistakes, and hopefully we have enough. I've still got a bit of ERS to play with, but not much fuel unfortunately. Been saving quite a lot. But you can see on the deltas, and Ruben has made a mistake there. I think he might have had a bit of a half spin through the second last corner. He's gone lost half a second, and now starting the final lap. That was all we needed because even though I've got no fuel and no ERS left, 2 seconds is more than enough really to hold him off. And at the end of the race, it's going to be round the final corner to take a victory in AOR F2, which has been so long. It's been 96 races since I last won a race in AOR, which was season 13 in Brazil, and this is season 20, and we have taken the checkered flag to win the Bahrain Grand Prix, race 2 of the season, obviously just missing out in Australia, but we've made amends in Bahrain. There we are on the podium, taking a selfie for good measure as well. And on the podium with Ruben, who really did put up a good fight. I was very worried at the end of the race there that he was going to come and steal it from me. We've got the same character model as well. So, yeah, and, the other driver on the podium, my teammate, Riley Boyce, who recovered from 2 disconnects, who was very unlucky with the damage as well. So he would have been a very difficult driver to beat in normal circumstances. But luckily, for me at least, he disconnected and had a bit of an issue with damage and whatnot. So, yeah, taking the victory. My first in 96 AOR races. It's been over 3 years. It was like August 2017, the last time I won a race. And it's now September 2020. So, yeah, been way too long in AOR, but luckily we have taken the victory. You can see Riley on the podium, Callum and Tom dropping behind him thanks to penalties. And Daigoro, who was my championship rival from Australia, is down in 6th place. That's elevated me to the lead of the championship by 10 points from Ruben and Daigoro, who are both on 33 points. I'm on 43, so very healthy lead at the minute. But obviously it's early days, so a lot to still play for. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you haven't, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JOA3, and I will see you next time.